What is going on, everybody? How are we doing? I hope we're doing well. My name is Jason Krutzky, and it's the end of the month today. It's Wednesday, August 31st, and we're getting new monthly candles. Are you guys excited? I'm excited. I hope y'all are excited too. Crazy trading out there today. Very difficult day. Hope you guys have been trading them well. For today's show, what's up, Alex? How's it going? Fuzzy, what's up, Fuzzy? Hope you guys are doing well. Thank you guys for being here. Please say hello if you're here. I'd love to talk to you and say hi, get to know you. For today's show, I want to focus on monthly candles, and we are going to just slam through a zillion charts. I've got the S&P 100 index up. We're going to go through all those. We're going to go through the Nasdaq 100. If by the end of those 200 symbols, we have not taken a look at stuff that you want to look at, we'll do that too. Maybe we'll throw those in, sprinkle them in as we go. Monthly candles, obviously, pretty important candles. It's a lot of data. So I've got the S&P 100 index up here on the right-hand side of my chart. You can see it, right, y'all? And what I've got on the chart itself, just a few very simple things. I've got a 12-month moving average, simple moving average. And maybe that's arbitrary, but I figured a year's worth of data on the moving average might be kind of interesting. So that's why I went with it. Maybe let me add one other one too. I'm going to add a 50 because that's our 200. Well, oh no, that's our month. I'm just going to keep this. I'm going to keep it as just the 12. This is 1 year's worth of data here. Maybe I could mimic a 200-day moving average too. I guess I could use multi-time frame. Let's do that. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do, what's that, like six-ish for the length? Yeah, something like that. We'll do 6. So our yellow here is approximately our 200-day moving average. Our red is our year's worth of data. So I'm going to be jamming through these charts. Hold up one second. Curious if you can check some yields. Europe, Italy, Spain, Germany, and US 10. Of course, those European yields look scary. I don't really know. Hit me with the ticker symbols, and maybe we could take a look at them towards the end, Fuzzy. Be happy to do that. If I'm not sure if we have those on the platform, but we might. So let's just get right into this. Again, we've got the 6-period monthly, 6 months. That's approximately 180-ish days, something like that. I guess we could do maybe the 7. 7 would probably get us closer to about the 200-day moving average. So we've got that, and we've got the year, the 12-month moving average in red. I've got the volume by price anchored to COVID lows because that's an important swing low. We want to know where the volume weighted average price is from there. We want to know where the POC is from there. That's the point of control. And we're just going to be taking a look at these candles and seeing what we're seeing on the monthly. Now, first up is Apple. And I have to say, Apple looks pretty terrifying on the monthly here. We did not make a new high. They failed to make a new high. And what do we need for uptrends? We need new highs. Well, we were targeting these bad boys right in here. One of these two, and we did not get it. And so what do we got now? Well, our good friend Jermaine, Strat Soldier, he would call this a shooter. We got a nice shooting star on the monthly time frame. Not exactly what you want to see if you're bullish. Apple is pretty ugly. Took out the highs of the previous month, failed to make some new highs, and now there is cause for concern. I mean, we could certainly make some moves lower. It certainly seems like what they're prepping us for here. So we're going to be watching that. We're going to be watching, personally, I'll be watching for a break of this month's low. That is around 157.65. And we're going to be having Sarah Strat Sniper on tomorrow on the live charting show. It's at 8 p.m. Eastern time right here on TrendSpider TV on YouTube. And we're probably going to be doing a bit of this monthly overviews as well. But according to Strat Philosophy, we're going to be, if we break down below this month's low, that sets us up for a move down to this 135, back into the lows of the previous month. So it's a little scary there. Apple, a big bellwether for the markets in general. You know, you want to see Apple doing well. If Apple's not doing well, there is trouble a-brewing. We need to be mindful of it. So Apple, big warning shot from Apple with that shooter. We're going to move now to AbbVie. AbbVie, very strong. Very strong uptrend, still intact. Could it make some lower lows here? Yeah. Could it pull back a little bit more? Sure, it certainly could, but very strong trend overall. Higher lows off of the August 2019 low. We continuously been making higher lows, continuously been making higher highs. So we're in a nice uptrend here. Now we do have that POC and VWAP on this name from the COVID lows. Those are both in the 112 to 113, 114 range. Would it be a shocker to see price come back into that area? No, not at all. It would not be a shocker. We can see a bit of a volume gap here. You know, Jake is always talking about these volume gaps. We need to be mindful of this because these volume gaps can sometimes cause price to float right through them. A very strong, we would call this a fair value gap here from this November high when we made the move in December of 2021. So a logical place where price might find itself here in the coming months around that 120 spot. We're going to be looking somewhere around that 120 level. This thing is failing below its 200-day moving average. It's failing below its yearly or its 12-month moving average as well, but it does seem to like it as well. I mean, we gotta at least be mindful of that. Again, we're looking at this red moving average. Every time it comes into it, it does somewhat act as support. We found it here in October 2020. We saw it here in September 2021, and now we're back again. So maybe it finds some support here. If it continues to fall, we're going to be looking at those previous highs, the February 2018 highs and the August 2021 highs. We're looking for price to come in to that area. Not the greatest looking chart. Would have loved to have seen this June 2022 low hold, but it looks like they're failing it now. So maybe a bit more room for some downside ahead here on AbbVie. We're going to go next to ABBT. This is Abbott Laboratories. Now, I believe Abbott Laboratories is a healthcare name. Maybe they make some pharmaceuticals or something like that. Anchored VWAP from the COVID lows. We're trading below it now. This thing is acting as resistance. They tried to hold it past couple of months, but have failed it and now look to be headed a little bit lower here. Also POC above, all of your moving averages above. This thing does not look all that great. We might want to be looking maybe somewhere around 95 bucks or so. If this thing does continue lower, kind of this breakout area in here is looking pretty decent to me. Got some questions came in. Any tips or strategies for trading the first hour of the markets? So my tip for you is wait. Don't wait the whole first hour. That's not really necessary, but let price develop, you know, like maybe 15 minutes, maybe 25 minutes. Different people have different risk willingness in that regard. But me personally, I'm usually going to sit on my hands at least for 15 minutes. There's just so many orders that get backlogged, people placing orders during the after hours session overnight and that sort of thing. And then of course you have just sheer excitement. People have been waiting all night and all morning to get into the markets. Finally, they're open, we're ready to go, and people want to jump right in. And sometimes that doesn't lead to the best decision making. Sometimes that leads to volatility. So my thoughts for you would be to wait, to kind of sit on your hands, let price develop for a little while, again, 15 to 20 minutes, see what that early range looks like. And then also, you know, plan your trade ahead of time. Like if you've got a decent idea maybe you're bullish leaning, maybe you're bearish leaning, whatever it is, come into the day with, I want to see X, Y, Z happen, and set yourself up with a couple different scenarios. Maybe a bullish scenario, maybe a bearish scenario. If these bearish things happen, then I'm going to be positioning myself in this way. If these bullish things happen, then I'm going to be positioning myself in this way. The more you can know about your plan getting into the day, the less that early morning volatility is going to mess with your head. But generally speaking, my biggest thing is wait until price has had a chance to kind of relax a little bit. There's just a lot of fake outs very, very early in the morning, right when the market opens. So I would say sit on your hands and watch things for a few minutes. Let things happen. Neil, CCJ, I'll pop into it real quick. It's not in this list, but we'll pop into it. Look at the monthly. I mean, in comparison to the past three names we looked at, is a monster monthly. That's for sure. It looks like we held the point of control from the COVID lows back in November 2020. We see that point of control at $23.47. This thing is trading up and over its 200-day moving average, up and over its 12-month or year moving average. Looking like it's wanting to try and maybe make another new high. It keeps on holding higher lows here. Every time you come in to test that major swing low, it holds. So it held this one, it held this one, it's held this one. Would not be shocked to see this thing make new highs in the coming months. That would be my 2 cents on CCJ. Next over here, ACN. What's ACN? Accenture. Never heard of this, but finding support at a very important level. We could see it is holding currently the point of control and the volume weighted average price from those COVID lows. Been a pretty key level, so we're going to want to see those levels hold. Looks like they were able to make new highs this month against last month and actually against the last 3 months. So this thing kind of traded not quite inside, but almost inside for 3 straight months, and it broke to the upside. Now it's getting a little dicey. You've got a bit of a shooter here on the monthly, so could come into a little bit of trouble here if it does continue to fail and go lower. Really going to want to see that point of control, volume weighted average price area hold up. If that does not hold up, could be problematic. And, they have tested it quite a few times. Generally, when price tests a level, that first time it tests a level, you get a really strong reaction, and then multiple recurring tests, the reaction gets weaker and weaker and weaker until price is able to move past the level. So something to keep in mind with this name. It's stronger, it's holding, but it maybe is on a bit of thin ice. Adobe here looking pretty rough. Anchored VWAP from the COVID lows. The POC and the VWAP pretty much at the same level, that 472 level. They failed it. They back tested it. They failed it. And they just keep making new lows here. So pretty ugly. Not what you want to see if you're long Adobe here. The next step, if this thing does continue lower, next place we might be looking is somewhere in that 310 area. Not the greatest look, and another shooter on the monthly here for Adobe. Not the greatest look. AIG. How's AIG looking? American International Group. Don't know what they do, but from the COVID low, anchored VWAP is way lower, 42.85. Point of control even lower than that, $30. Interesting indeed. We've got price closing below both of those major moving averages that we are paying attention to, the 200-day and the 12-month. Looks like they wicked right into it, and we got another shooter on the monthly. So lots of shooters here on the monthly. Not a very good look into beginning of September. AMGN, next ticker. AMGN's looking all right. All things considered, it's looking all right. What do we do here? We're up and over we're trading just below the point of control from the COVID lows here. We are above the VWAP from those COVID lows, and looks like we're trying to hold that 200-day moving average. All right, let me see here. Yeah, looks like we're trying to hold the 200-day moving average. We might be just holding it. Again, this is kind of a This is kind of a loose because I'm using the monthly as a 7-month. So it's about 200 days. And they're trying to hold it now. So this is a pretty important level. Let's see here. Yeah, it looks pretty good, all things considered. Amgen. So let's keep on moving. What's up, Sonia? Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing good. It's good to see you. Thanks for being here. American Tower Corporation. Don't know too much about this one. Holding its 200-day moving average, holding its volume-weighted average price, holding its point of control from those COVID lows. So not bad stuff there. It is making a higher low here, or it did hold higher lows on the monthly. You know, this one's a little tricky because we made a low. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look bad to me. I kind of like the look of this. This might be a decent pullback spot for, you know, an eventual move, continuation move higher. Dow completed its target given last week. Nice, Sonia. Glad to hear it. Amazon, a name everybody's talking about, a name everybody knows. Let me remove all these guys. But at a very tricky spot, that is for sure. Let's take a look. Point of control and VWAP from the COVID lows are trading above, or are above where price is trading right now. Looks like we came into that VWAP from the COVID lows to almost the penny. That kind of vibes with our 12-month moving average as well. And we are closing below the 200-day. Got nice and rejected at that 200-day moving average. Closing below another shooter on the monthly. This is not looking good, guys. I have to admit. So far, not so good. This does appear to be poised for a bit of a continuation move lower next month. I hope that's not the case, but things do not look great right now for old Amazon. I'll be keeping my eye on the 88, 89 level here, kind of into the next couple of months. I suppose maybe even $98. Maybe they could come and take out these previous lows and turn it back. But right now, things do not look very bullish in the near term on Amazon. Moving on to AVGO. This is Broadcom. Move all these guys. We are up and over point of control from the point of control and VWAP from the COVID lows. That is good to see. And in fact, last month we held that point of control level almost to the penny. However, we are trading below the 200-day moving average. We got rejected right at it. Got rejected right at that 12-month moving average as well. And another shooter on the monthly. Not so great. Not so great. We need to see these 463. We need to see these lows hold. Hopefully they'll hold. Bulls want to see that hold. If that doesn't hold, you might be finding yourself back around 420 here over the coming months. AXP, American Express. Gosh. Whew. Man, it's feeling like we are in some sticky stuff here. All right, AXP. Again, VWAP, point of control from the COVID lows. Looks like we found perfect support at that VWAP from the COVID low last month. We gained last month's high, and we're putting in a shooter here on the monthly again. Trading below the 200, trading below the 12-month. This thing might be setting up for a continuation move lower, unfortunately. This is not what I want to be seeing, you guys, but it is what we're seeing. BAC, or no, I'm sorry, BA. Let's check and take a look at BA. So totally different looks here on BA. Did hold a higher low, trading below the 12-month, getting rejected at the 200-day as well. And we are clinging on tight to that point of control from the COVID lows. For anybody who doesn't know what point of control is, this is where the most volume at price has occurred. So since those 2020 lows, COVID lows, more volume has traded at the POC price level than any other price level during that time. So lots of volume there. You would anticipate that area of volume would act as either support or resistance, depending on where price is in relation to it. If price is above it, price comes back into it, you anticipate it's going to hold. You anticipate all those buyers are going to hold on to their positions. If price is trading below it and comes into it, it's representing an area where that should act as resistance. You got a bunch of buyers who own the stock much higher. Prices come back to their break-even level, and they're selling off because, hey, I'm not losing on the trade anymore. I'm back to break-even, and I'm going to get out of this thing. So it's kind of a last line of defense here, this point of control. The only thing that I think is going for this on BA is it did manage to at least put in a higher low against the 2020 lows. It's the only thing that's really going for it. But otherwise, basically another shooter on the monthly. Not the best look in the world. BAC. Got a bunch of levels here. Let me remove all of them. I was watching banks. I was hoping banks would do well over the past week or week and a half or so. Things are not looking that great here either. Looks like we're trying to hold on. We're holding on for dear life to your volume weighted average price from the COVID lows. Looks like they failed below it and immediately gained it. Holding it now. It's good. The look of this candle is not that good. But we'll see. If we get continuation lower, you'd of course be looking for that 29.42 level to fail. The lows from looks like July. And we might find some support somewhere around this POC, maybe around like 25, 26 bucks, somewhere in that world. So again, not the greatest look on BAC. Looking forward to seeing some charts that look good, but so far I haven't seen a ton. All right, BK, the Bank of New York Mellon Corporation. What have we done? Well, we made a new high recently. We made new highs in January of 2022 against the previous highs in February of 2018. We've come all the way back to the lows that brought us up to the highs. This doesn't look super, super terrible to me. I like the fact that we've done what we've done within trend. We do have some lower lows here, so this could just be a giant little expansion pattern, a bullhorn pattern, or people that have different names for these things. Sonia, I'm reading what you're saying. Now waiting for Nasdaq 10,960, and this will also come 100 per. I don't know what that means. See as told. I don't need a chart. No indicators. Till today, I provided so many targets. Now start comparing your given target with your system and get the best out of it for a few weeks. Sonia, I don't know what to tell you, sis, but I'm stoked that your targets are hitting. Back to BK, holding the previous lows. You want to see these levels hold. Very, very important. Not sure if they will. Another shooter on the monthly, trading below the 200-day moving average, trading below the 12-month moving average. Man, things just looking bleak. And it's such a bummer. I don't want things to look bleak. I want things to look super bullish. And they're just not. Another shooter on the monthly here. I'm booking holdings. Trading below POC and VWAP from the COVID lows. Not the vibes I'm looking for personally. Only thing we got is we're holding this swing low here. But that shooter on the monthly is not giving me much confidence. We keep moving. BLK, Black Rock. Another wicked look here. Trading below POC and VWAP from COVID lows. They tried to gain it and they got caught up. They got caught up on the 200 more recently. They got caught up on the 12-month. If you're bullish on BLK, we need to start gaining some of this stuff. We need to get up and over that VWAP. We need to get up and over that POC. This is going to be heavy resistance. This is we're almost at what, 2 years, a little bit, 2.5 years worth of buyers here that are now stuck. It's troubling. We keep moving. Bristol Myers. We've had some folks here in this chat ask about Bristol Myers. Bristol Myers looking pretty decent, right? Made a new high. That's what you want to see. Making new highs. Now we're coming back into kind of this breakout area. This, 67 bucks or so. They're trying to hold that 12-month moving average right now. We're up and over the VWAP and the POC from the COVID lows. Bristol Myers, not looking too bad. I'm going to put a little tab next to it because it's one of the few that's not looking so bad. Citigroup looking rough. Failing new highs right here. Back in July 2021. Coming back into the old lows. Finding a little bit of support at those old lows. So it's nice to see that. We are, though, closing. Looks like we're going to close below the POC from the COVID lows. We're closing below the 200-day moving average. We're closing below the 12-month moving average. Not super great on Citigroup. And I feel like Citigroup was a pretty good mover there for a little bit. Oof, guys. Not stoked on this. I'm really not stoked on this. Caterpillar. Moving on. Caterpillar, COVID low. VWAP holding for now. Looks like they have tested it a bunch. They tested it in February. They tested it in March. They tested it in June. They tested it in July. At some point, you have to assume that all of these tests are not going to hold. The more times a level gets tested, the more likely it is to fail. And that works both to the upside and to the downside, right? Lower highs over the past, year? July 2021, June 2021 into April 2022. Lower highs, lower lows. Not the greatest look. We might be looking for lower prices here on Caterpillar in the months to come. We are technically inside in the sense that the open and the close is inside the open and the close of last month. So this would be, I believe, an actionable signal for some folks. Trade the break of the open, trade the break of the close, whichever happens first. In the direction of the break. JAV. Let's take a look at GLD real quick for you. GLD on the monthly, not looking good, my friend. Not looking good. You really wanted to see these lows hold. This 163 level, pretty important, and they have failed it. They held it last month. They did break through it, wicked through it, but they are losing it now. Not great. You're trading below VWAP and POC from the COVID lows. Also not great. You failed to make a new high here back in, March of 2022. Really would have liked to have seen new highs made, but for now, man, this looks pretty nasty. So next step here is going to be to lose this 157 low. And if they do that, you're going to be looking quite a bit lower, unfortunately. Quite a bit lower. So not so great job. And I'm sorry to say that. I don't want to say that to anybody. Unless you're short. If you're short, then take it to zero. All right. What's next? Where were we? We were at Charter. CHTR. Ooh. This looks terrible. Looks terrible. Below both of our moving averages. Way below POC and VWAP. Man. Pretty nasty. We've got this big low to contend with. This is what they're contending with right now, but it looks like so many tests here. This thing looks like it is bound to fail. I think this thing's going lower. 340-ish. Somewhere in that world. 350. Yikes. What's up, Chewy? How we doing? Hope you're well. We're going to look at KR real quick for you. KR. Whew. All right. So we are holding 12-month moving average. We are holding last month's lows. We're actually holding the breakout level, right? If this was your previous high right here in August of 2021, we kind of broke out and we're coming back and we're testing. This doesn't look half bad. We did get stopped at the 200-day moving average, in and around the 200-day moving average. We're going outside on the month here. As far as opens and closes are concerned, you're outside on the month. But I guess if you include your highs and lows, you're 2 up on the month. So this would be a 2 down, 2 up. KR doesn't look half bad, man. You do have new highs. You're holding higher lows. You're up and over the VWAP and POC from the COVID lows. I don't mind the look of this one, man. You're at all-time highs. I mean, well, you made all-time highs a couple months ago, but we're holding, you know, like that's really what you want to see. We're holding at important levels. So I'm going to give KR the stamp of approval here in comparison to every other name pretty much that we've looked at. We're going to CL, Colgate Palmolive. These guys make my toothpaste. They may make your shaving cream. Who knows what other items these guys make. This one's a little tricky. Lots of consolidation here, just going sideways, not really doing a whole heck of a lot. Pretty boring, if I'm honest. Up and over the VWAP and the point of control from the COVID lows, though. Trading up and over both of those moving averages we're paying attention to. Not the best looking monthly candle, but it's just a boring name. So if you're trading this is more like an investor name. You know, you've got a high of 86, you've got a low of 75, and you're just trading in this range. And it could trade in this range for a long time. It may not, but it may. So something to be mindful of. Looks better than a lot of the names we've looked at so far, though. Got to say that. Lori, what's up? NVDA. Yeah, so we're going to get to NVDA, but it's probably going to be in the QQQ or in the Nasdaq list here. But I promise I'm going to get to it. We'll get to it. Actually, let's just do it. NVDA. Let's take a look. NVDA. I was talking with the producer of this show, the brilliant man who made that incredible image. I don't know if you guys enjoyed the image of that we captured live of me this morning on an archaeological dig. I found that beautiful red monthly candle just in the dirt there. I just kind of, and there it was. We were talking about NVDA. NVDA is in a tight spot. Yes, in a very tight spot. You are up and over the point of control from your from the COVID low. We are below the VWAP. We are below the moving averages. That 200-day moving average is where we got rejected. This thing is not looking very good. That said, what does it have in its corner right now? It's up and over 141. That's what it's got in its corner. It's still trading above last month's low. And last month's low pretty much was holding right where it needed to, about at that POC, and more specifically at this swing low candle right here, this March 2021 low. Big swing low that took us all the way up. And they come back in and they retested it. So for now, it's holding where it needs to. In my opinion, it does not look good. In my opinion, if we lose that low, if we lose this POC, even more importantly, like if we start trading below 130, 135, 133, we start trading below there, this thing could get nasty because there isn't much below to hold it. You're looking at 71 bucks. Maybe they could come in and hold this 116, the previous low from March 2021. Doesn't look very lovely to me. I don't quite love it, but it's at least holding for now. I would let this thing kind of play out. I would not be taking longs just yet if you're thinking about it. So that's my thoughts on NVDA. Needs to really hold in here. This anywhere from like 140 to 135 or so, 133. If it can hold on, you're kind of going to be okay. Maybe slowly see it start gaining again. But if we come down and we lose this, that could spell long-term trouble for NVDA. Oh, it is on this list. Okay, cool. Didn't know that. CMCSA. Looking pretty scary here. Below all of the things that we're looking at. POC, VWAP, both of the moving averages. The only thing it's got in its corner for now is it's holding a higher low. So could be potentially a great spot to take along. You know, if I'm honest, it could be a great spot. I don't know too much about Comcast, how their finances are. I don't know anything about any of that. But for now, you are putting in multiple higher highs and multiple potential higher lows. We're going to really want to see this area kind of hold here. It's 35 bucks. If they lose 32, 31 and a half, they make a new low against this one. Could spell some trouble in the long term. COF. What's COF doing? Capital One. Okay. Capital One up and over its point of control from COVID lows. Just trying to hold on to that VWAP from the COVID low. They held it initially. They traded below it, and now they're rejecting at it. Shooter on the monthly, below its 200, below its 12-month. Doesn't look super good. Only thing it's got going for it, I guess, is it's holding those previous highs. 2018 high. It's holding 2020 high. Fails below. Bad news. Bad news. There is a bit of a volume gap here in between, what, $100 and about $85. Something to consider. Not looking great. COF. COP, though, monster. Absolute monster. Let's see here. Made an all-time high 2 months ago. We've pulled back. We've tested. We've held. And we've made a nice bounce here off of those previous highs. You can see them, this 2018 high. We extended above it. We gained it. And then we came back and we tested it. And it held. And it bounced. And now we're looking like we're running to gain and make new highs. So that's kind of would be my expectation here. A nice hold. A nice hold and a nice gain. I mean, we went through this on Monday. We went through the top 20 tickers in energy, and we were surprised to find out just how much strength there really is in those top tickers. So if you're in COP, good for you. Congratulations. I'd be looking for new highs here over the coming months. It's up and over everything that we need to see it up and over. So Costco. Interesting spot. Interesting place to reject. Made a new high. Lost the low. So we rejected at the previous high. This one's tricky. This one's very tricky. It's up and over the 200-day moving average. Looks like it's going to close right at it. Ish. Up and over the 12-month. Looks like when they came back and they tested the VWAP from the COVID lows. Almost to the penny. Pretty perfect. You know, for now, oh, this is tough. Me personally, I would wait for new highs, new relative highs relative to this month. So up and over 566, then I would be interested in this as a potential long. But I don't know. The fact that we made some new lows here kind of freaks me out a little bit. New lows meaning the January 2022 low against the May 2022 low. That's a little tricky. Definitely a little tricky. I mean, they're holding a little bit more bullish on Costco than bearish, but I would let it kind of play out a little bit. In the longer term, CRM looking like not good. Let's talk through CRM here. So what did we do? Made a new high back in November 2021 against these August 2020 highs. But we have lost the low that we really needed to hold, which aligns with the point of control and the VWAP from the COVID lows. They tried to hold it back in December 2021, and we have failed below. We are trading below our 200-day moving average. Looks like that's where we got caught up. We are trading below our 12-month moving average, and this thing seems relatively poised for a retest of previous lows. Maybe 130, maybe 117. CRM not looking very good here going into next month. Cisco. Interesting looks from Cisco here. Remove this guy. Hold on 1 second. Just removing some stuff. All right, so new highs on Cisco relative to these previous ones. January 2019, January 2020, new highs in January 2020, and we're trying to hold lows. So for now, things not looking terrible. Things not looking great, but things not looking terrible. Looks like they rejected a lot of stuff. They rejected the point of control from COVID lows. They rejected VWAP from COVID lows. They rejected the 200-day moving average with a big shooter on the monthly. Lots of shooters on the monthly. Not the most bullish thing in the world. CVS. CVS. Remove all these guys. CVS had an interesting spot. Tried to make some new highs earlier on this year and was unable to do so. Tested some of those highs. Tried to test those highs this month. So big month on CVS. Up and over the 200-day moving average, up and over the 12-month moving average, up and over VWAP and POC from the COVID lows. So not a bad look here on CVS. Not a bad look. CVX. Another burner. Where are we at here? 110. Man, I may not be able to get through all these names. I thought I was going to be able to get through all of them, but I may not be able to. CVX looking great, though, in comparison to lots of its colleagues here on the S&P 100 index. Made new highs 2 months ago. Came in back, tested the previous ones, held, and is bouncing. Doesn't look quite as strong as COP, its brother, Conoco, but still looking quite strong. Got to assume that these oil names are going to continue to gain. That's what it looks like to me anyway. DD. Where are we at? DuPont. Failed new highs. Coming back into previous lows. Probably going to get them. Doesn't look good. Below all of the stuff we're interested in. Doesn't look good at all. Probably headed lower. DHR. Danaher. What have we done here on Danaher? Quite better looking than a lot of the tickers we have gone over so far. Holding VWAP, holding POC. We'll check those out in a second. Chewy. Nice support. Holding 200-day moving average just barely by a thread. Got stopped at that 12-month moving average. Could have a little bit more downside in it. Maybe this like 263 or so area. But this doesn't look very bad to me. I kind of like it. DHR looking all right. Let's look at wheat real quick. Yeah, since I'm not going to be able to get through all these names, I thought I was going to, but I can just tell I'm not going to be able to. So if you guys have names that you guys want me to look at on the monthly, I'll be happy to do that. Ooh, tricky on wheat. Where is this thing coming from? Wow. Yeah, excuse me. Very interesting. So essentially what they did, you had your highs here back in July of 2017. We have managed to make some new ones. Then they went for these highs, 2015 highs. And they weren't able to really gain them. They did poke their head through them. They wicked through them. So they took out a ton of stops here. People who were short took out a ton of stops. And they sent it right back. But they're holding right where they should, in my opinion. They are trading just below, or it is trading just below everything that we've been watching. POC, VWAP, the 200-day moving average, and that 12-month moving average. But they are holding where they need to. So I would say as long as they hold this 765 area, this month's low, I think we're in probably pretty decent shape on wheat for a continuation higher. This might be a decent opportunity, pullback opportunity. Nice tight risk spot. HPQ. So the whole idea here, remember, we're trying to get a general idea of what to expect in the months to come. That is what I'm thinking about when I'm looking at these monthlies. On average, are tickers looking good? Are tickers looking bad? Are they up and over these levels? Are they below these levels? So far, not so great. Now we could, in theory, not even in theory, we could, in reality, we could scan through some of these. Actually, let's do that. Let's do some scanning here. Since it's going to be difficult for us to get through all these names, maybe we just want to scan through and see which names are actually looking pretty decent. Maybe we should do that. Let's try. Let's say condition. And I'm going to say price close, monthly close, greater than indicator, Monthly simple moving average, 12. I'm also going to say price daily close, greater than indicator, daily, 200 SMA. I just want to know of the bunch which are looking half decent here. S&P 100. Save myself just a smidge of time. Not a ton of time. We're just scanning the list over here on the right side. See which ones are actually meeting this criteria out of the bunch. I guess it's all the oil tickers. While this is scanning, let's take a look at ATXG for our man Roman here. Roman, hope you're doing well. Holy guacamole. What on earth is this? Oh man, what? ATXG. I have no idea, Roman. Sheer insanity? From 20 bucks to 277 bucks? I mean, you can't chart this. Amigo, you know that. I have no idea. This could go to $2,000. This could go to $20, and it'll probably do both. You heard it here first. All right, Duke Energy. Another energy name. Looking pretty strong. Not looking great, but looking pretty strong in comparison to the bunch. We did make new highs recently. We did manage to hold relative lows. We're up and over the POC, up and over the VWAP. And according to this, we are also above both of our moving averages. So, like I said, these energy names, GD, General Dynamics, another on the list, meeting the criteria, made new highs in March 2022. We are up and over the big moving averages. We're up and over volume weighted average price and POC. Not looking too bad, this guy. General Dynamics, don't know what they do, but not looking too bad. Let's real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, excuse me, 14, 15, 16, 17 tickers of the 100 are meeting our relatively more bullish criteria. That's not great. That is not a very good average. EXC. EXC did not manage to make a new high relative to its April 2019 high. Would have preferred to have seen a new high made there for this thing to continue higher. Could it still? Absolutely. Definitely looks better than a lot of the tickers we've gone over. So one to watch. AMGN, we've gone over this already. Costco, we went over. COP, we went over. MRK, we haven't looked at. Let's look at MRK here. MRK coming into December 2000 highs. Barely able to make a new high. Could be a bunch of stops just got taken out. Really would have liked to have seen either of these highs, the December 2019 high or even the 2021 high hold, and they're not able to hold them. Looks like they could be headed a little bit lower here, shorter term, but not a bad looking chart overall. Look at SPY and futures pushing. Yeah? Hold on, let's take a look at SPY. That's what I want to hear. I mean, the monthly. Monthly looks scary, man. Monthly looks scary on SPY here. I have to admit. Big shooter on the monthly. We failed right at that 12-month SMA. We were not able to gain either of our SMAs. We're failing at the point of control. So there's more volume done at 420 of all prices. 420. Was it even maybe 420 something? Let me see here. Yeah, I don't know exactly, but I guess we could zoom in and like really see. We'll call it 420. Round up. 419 and change. More volume done at 420 than any other price point from the COVID lows. Remember, SPY was trading at the COVID low. SPY was trading at 217, and there was more volume done at 420 than anywhere else between 217 and 480. More volume at 420 than anywhere else. Think about how that volume is going to react when price comes into it. Well, price came into it. We tried to hold it earlier this year. January of this year, we tried to hold it. February of this year, we tried to hold it. March tried to hold it. We failed below it. April. And things have not been the same really since. We've done it again. We failed below it again. Have to assume SPY is setting up here for a bit of a continuation lower. Despite whatever's going on the minute time frame, we have to think bigger term here. And bigger term, things are not looking lovely on SPY, unfortunately. Back to our scan list. KO, Coca-Cola, looking pretty darn good. Overall, up and over volume weighted average price and POC from the COVID lows. Up and over the 12-month moving average. Looks like it's failing below its 200-day. It did put in a lower high this month against April. Sorry, April. So that's not so good. Could pull back a little bit. Does have some room. Maybe we could see like $56 potentially. It could hold still, though. It could definitely still hold. Overall, pretty strong, I'd say, in comparison to a lot of the symbols that we've seen. LLY. So healthcare is looking pretty good, right? We got LLY. What else do we have here in the healthcare world? AMGN. MRK. Isn't MRK Merck? Yeah, that's healthcare, right? So healthcare is looking pretty good. We've got gas looking pretty good. LLY holding all of the stuff, holding all the moving averages, above the VWAP, above the POC, making new highs, holding higher lows. LLY doing all the things you want to see if you're bullish. Let's take a look real quick at your ISRG. Intuitive. It was a nice buy 2 months ago for sure. A nice little dipper buy. However, what have we done this month? We failed the 200. We failed the VWAP. We failed the POC. I don't know, man. I don't know. This could be headed a little bit lower. Obviously, this 195 level, very, very important. You know, previous resistance from September 2018 into June of 2020. And that's why I found support there. So that's going to be a big, big, big level in the coming months if they end up losing 195 or so. Look out below. Could be headed back into 150. Could be headed back to 122. Could be not so great. So Intuitive, not looking as good as some of its healthcare compadres. NEE, also an energy name. Looking pretty darn good. Really love to see it make a new high here. Do not know if it will. Looks like it's maybe failing now. A little bit of a shooter, but above our major moving averages, above VWAP, above POC. So all in all, quite more bullish, relatively speaking. McDonald's, old Mickey D's. Not looking too bad here. Up and over everything. Over POC, over VWAP, over moving averages. And what did they do? Pushed to new highs, came back and tested a breakout area right in here. 220, held nice, making higher lows. A little bit of an inside month this month. So we'll be looking for continuation, hopefully to the upside next month. We'll see. LMT, Lockheed Martin. Remove a bunch of stuff. Made some new highs. Looks like it's getting rejected at the 200-day moving average. but it is trading up and over its 12-month moving average, trading up and over POC, VWAP. So not looking too bad on Lockheed Martin. Did hold breakout area. Shooter on the monthly, though. Not always the most bullish look. SO. Southern Company looks pretty darn good. All-time highs this month. Does not look bad. A little slow moving. A little slow moving, but all-time highs this month. They gained the previous all-time high, came back, tested, held a higher low, and are making new all-time highs. Not bearish. T-Mobile. T-Mobile looking darn good. Coming into previous all-time highs. Really going to want to see those get gained here. Maybe it'll happen next month. Looks great. All things considered, T-Mus. So interesting selection of names that are looking good. We've got energy so far. We've got like basics, right? I would put some of our healthcare names in that basics category, things everybody needs all the time. Costco's here. McDonald's is here. Pepsi is here. Lockheed Martin is here. T-Mobile, United Healthcare. These are all like basics, life basics. I don't know if you'd put Pepsi in that world, but there's a lot of soda drinkers out there. Pepsi made new all-time highs this month, putting in a shooter on the monthly. So a little bit of cause for concern, or reason for concern, but all in all, man, Pepsi looking very, very good. Let's take a look at play real quick. This is Dave & Buster's, right? Yes. Okay, Dave & Buster's. What have we done? What do we have to do? It looks okay. Excuse me. It looks okay. It looks okay. Up and over 12-month moving average. Looks like it's trying to hold above its 200-day. It's up and over VWAP and point of control from COVID lows. It wasn't really able to put in like a honest new high relative to the 2021 highs, March 2021. They tried here in March 2022, but they weren't really able to get it. Maybe they'll get it over the coming months. I put this at like a mediocre setup. I wouldn't put it at like the best setup, greatest setup in the world, but mediocre. Mediocre. UNH, the last name on the list that is meeting our criteria. And what are we doing here on UNH? I mean, obviously, wildly strong. Did they put in a new all-time high this month? If they did, it was just pennies. But still, beautiful trend. Higher lows, higher highs, up and over all of the stuff. UNH looking fantastic. So let's pop over to Nasdaq 100. See what's going on with tech. See if there's any names over here that look half decent. HNRG. Hallador. Hallador looking... I mean, it obviously looks good. You've got these highs, June 2018 highs that it's coming into. So not a huge surprise to see some rejection there. It's a big pivotal high before we went all the way to new lows. Monthly doesn't look lovely. It could definitely pull back here and still be very, very firmly in a strong uptrend, but just give a little bit back, you know, give back a buck. Not saying it will, but you know, if they're able to get up and over these June 18 highs, then you're targeting next the February 2017 high. What's up, Tom? BBBY had an oopsie. Well, go figure. Let's look at the BBBY monthly. Interesting. So what are they doing on BBBY? Holding point of control from COVID lows. Where'd they get rejected? They got rejected right at the March 2020 highs. Tons of volume here. Tons of volume here. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out because they did actually hold a higher low. So that's good to see. Maybe this is just the beginning. Who knows? Did I look at CAH? I did not. Let's look at it. Cardinal Health. Probably looking pretty. Wow. Big month on Cardinal Health. Up and over all the stuff that we're looking at. Interesting. Coming into the January 2018 high here. Yeah, wow. Looks pretty darn good, man. Pretty darn good. Above average volume on the monthly. How does it perform? Ooh, historically. This is kind of interesting. Let's go back and see in time. How does this thing do? Pretty evenly across into the end of the year. It looks like it's got a weak month in October. But even still, 51% win rate, October. Looks pretty good to me. Oh, excuse me. Gosh, sleepy today. Shop. How's Shop looking on the monthly? Yikes. Shop looking terrible in the monthly. So where are we? We are below everything. We're below the point of control from the COVID lows. We could even pull this thing back a little ways. And we're still below. Yikes. Not great, man. Not great at all. You're below. You got rejected at about the 200-day moving average, looks like, this month. Yeah, this is a no-fly zone if you're wanting to go long. At least not yet. Let this thing show you that it's gaining strength. Right now, it is not. The only loosely strong thing that it's doing is it made a new high relative to last month, and it's holding last month's low. Doesn't mean it will continue to, though. So be careful if you're thinking about going long on Shop here. If it loses these previous lows, 28 bucks. There's not much keeping it from continuing down to 16. So look out there. ADP, automatic data processing. New highs. New all-time highs this month. Not bearish. In an environment where most tickers are down at least 10%. Some of them are down 80. We got ADP over here making new all-time highs. So, shooter on the monthly, could see some downside, could see some pullback. Personally, would love an opportunity maybe around in here. 224, so kind of that breakout area. Whether or not we'll get it, who knows. But that's what I'd be looking for. MCK, SYY. We looked at MCK, I believe. McKesson. Yeah, wow. Monster. No, we haven't looked at this. Absolute monster. This is an undeniable strength. Maybe the strongest thing we've looked at today. MCK. In this, you got to throw up some fibs. We go high to low on fibs. Coming into a big spot. That 200% extension of the move. Doesn't mean we'll pause there, but something to be mindful of. It's big level. But wow, what a monster. Looks incredible. SYY. Cisco, not looking near as good as MCK. But did manage to make new all-time highs here, what, in April? It's getting rejected at its 200-day moving average, thereabouts. Holding its 12-month moving average, holding the POC, holding the VWAP, holding the swing low. Doesn't look bad, but definitely a slower mover. So, you know, keep that in mind if this is something that you're looking to trade. ATVI, Activision. Interesting moves from Activision. Made new all-time highs February 2021. Held some lows here, made a higher low. And now we're looking for all this stuff to hold. Looks like price action is getting pretty tight over the past couple of months. It's holding the VWAP, trading below the point of control just barely, but it's holding his 200, holding his 12-month. Did make new highs relative to last month. This will be kind of interesting to watch going forward. Costco, I think we already looked at. S-Gen, C-Gen. It's a little bit of a tricky one. Holding all the stuff, just barely. Not making higher highs. Need to see it making higher highs, but for now, making lower highs, making lower lows. Maybe it just hangs out and consolidates for another 2 years. Who knows? SNPS. New all-time highs this month. A nice hold of the VWAP and the POC from the COVID lows. Not really the type of rejection we want to see. This could be a similar play to what did we look at earlier? ADP. Look for a little bit more pullback, maybe back to the 200-day moving average next month. Around 323. Could be a potential long opportunity somewhere there about 325. Monster Energy Drink. Made new all-time highs last month. Holding both of our major moving averages. Holding POC, holding VWAP. So far, so good. Not the prettiest candle here this month. Might look for a little bit more of a pullback. But it doesn't have much room to pull back. So, something to keep an eye on as well. AEP. New all-time highs this month. Looking awful strong. American Electric Power Company. Again, what is the running theme here that we're seeing? Costco, Monster Energy Drink. Activision is kind of an outlier. Amgen, we knew. AEP. Vertex Energy. Oh no, Vertex Pharmaceutical. My bad. I feel like there's a Vertex Energy too. New monthly highs. Above, up and over all of our things. Doesn't look terrible, but could be in for a little bit of a correction here in the coming months. Fiserv. Interesting. Pan W. Palo Alto. Believe these are like cybersecurity. Looking really nice. Gaining its 200. Gaining back its 12-month. Looks like it kind of retested the VWAP from the COVID low and held. This thing might be ready for continuation higher. I mean, look at this in comparison. I know there's a big QQQ name. Look at it in comparison to QQQ. QQQ looking pretty much like SPY. Below its major moving averages, below POC, below VWAP from COVID low. Eek. These are not the monthly candles that we want to see at all. Pretty rough. AZN, Astrazeneca, again, another healthcare, right? Healthcare ticker. AstraZeneca failing some new highs over the past couple of months, holding its 12-month moving average up and over VWAP POC. So all in all, trend looks pretty good here. Decent pullback on this guy. Back to those previous highs. Excuse me. Doesn't look bad. CDNS. Cadence Design Systems. Don't know much about this ticker, but did make new all-time highs this month. Very similar to our tickers that we highlighted earlier. ADP. I believe it was SGen. You popped. We might need a little bit of a pullback here. Cassie, C-A-S-Y. What is Cassie? Casey's General Store. Looks lovely. Yep. Looks great. So running theme so far, you guys. Running theme is the essentials. For the most part. It's not all essentials, but man, it's a lot of essentials here. XCL, Xcel Energy making new all-time highs this month. Looking like a beautiful trend higher. O'Reilly Auto Parts. I'm not going to say it, but man, their theme song gets in my head and it stays in my head for days. It's already there. It's just stuck there right now, I can tell you. Barely made new all-time highs this month. Pretty wicked little reversal candle, though. Pretty much would expect at least some pullback here. Maybe back to that 650 area. Back into those moving averages. TMAS also on this list. Pinduoduo, a rare Chinese name. Pinduoduo had earnings this week, I believe, and I believe that they were quite good. Coming into VWAP from the COVID lows, we could see that that level was pretty important. It was kind of where we bounced off of to continue higher. It was kind of where we bounced before we failed and went lower. So up and over those moving averages are up sloping, beginning to anyway, especially at 200. Starting to slope a little higher. We are outside relative to the past 2 months. So big candle here. I would expect some continuation higher next month from old Pinduoduo. That's kind of unexpected. Keurig, Dr. Pepper, along with our Pepsi. So Pepsi and Dr. Pepper looking pretty decent. Making all new highs here. But that monthly candle is ugly. Recurring theme, big ugly shooters. Shooting stars on the monthly. Usually topping looking candles. CTAS, last ticker that's looking strong. Cintas. But failing a new high. Holding the moving averages. So that's not so bad. Let's go to some tech darlings. What is Google looking like? Google currently holding its VWAP from COVID lows. Trying to anyway. Got rejected at the 200-day moving average. Ugh, man. Y'all, this is kind of bumming me out a little bit, I have to be honest. What's up, Robert? Hope you're doing good today, sir. Chewy, let's look at TLT. 20-year treasuries. $20-year treasury making new relative lows, closing below this 114 level. They've tried to hold it, but they're closing below it. Looks like that's not the greatest sign for TLT. Not the greatest sign. If we lose those, we might be looking at these. 101. TLT looking rough. What's the 10-year? TNX. 10-year looking decent. But the 20-year looking pretty bad. Awesome, Robert. Glad to hear that. Great day scalping. I'm stoked for you, man. Wonderful news. I always want to hear you guys are doing good. Let's check out D-Dog here. Oops. D-Dog, a little tech darling. Definitely got paused at its 200-day moving average this month. Green shooter, better than a red shooter, that's for sure. Holding POC, and looks like it's failing right at VWAP from the COVID lows. Can't help but think that this thing might be headed lower. But we're holding important stuff. We are putting in a higher low so far relative to the May 2021 low. So that's important. If this thing can just start gaining, be in decent shape. Next month going to be important. Oh, thanks, Robert. I appreciate that. I learned a lot during that energy show. Most importantly, I learned that it seems like there's still quite a bit of meat on the bone there for those names. I really thought that the voices were getting quite loud in the room. Do we have anybody here yet, or anybody here right now that are not TrendSpider users? Be very curious to know if any of you guys are not TrendSpider users. If you're not a TrendSpider user, let me know. If you are a TrendSpider user, have you gone in our Discord yet? If you haven't gone in our Discord yet, let me hook you up with the Discord. There's our Discord if you're interested in it. Discord's fun. Come join us. If you enjoy these live streams and you would like to be alerted as to when they're happening, here's a link to my calendar. Join up my calendar. Love to see you guys here all the time. I gotta also tell you guys, we got some interesting, exciting things coming up here in the next couple of days. I'm not going to tell you what they are because that would ruin the surprise. But there are two big things coming in a couple of days that I think some folks are going to be pretty excited about. Dollar Tree here. Dollar Tree wanted to look good. It's just doing its old little pullback. It got a little extended. It got a little overexcited. Now it needs to probably come back into this VWAP where it broke out. So we'll be looking for some opportunities around 115. Pretty ugly downside candle here. That'd be actually a pretty sweet opportunity potentially around 112 or so. 112 to 116. Actually, you know what? Sometimes you got to create alerts. I'm going to do that here. Looking for a touch bounce. Let's do this. One of my favorite things about the TrendSpider platform is the ease of alerts. Set your alert. Set how long you want it to live there. Set the type of alert that you want to create. And let the platform be your eyes and ears. DocuSign looking terrible. Dang, DocuSign looking really rough here. Holy moly. You guys, this is not the greatest thing in the world to see. INTC, another big tech name. We talked about it. The likelihood of it failing, and it definitely did this month. That is nasty. Hopefully hopefully nobody here is in INTC longs. Let's see, Intuit. Intuit looking all right. Not looking great. We're looking all right. Holding the POC. Holding the VWAP. Trying to hold desperately onto that 200-day moving average. Looks like. JD, we talked about Pinduoduo. JD is similar. Similar in the sense that they're a Chinese name. Folks love to trade it. Holding previous higher lows, or holding previous highs, rather. January 2018 highs. Not the greatest looking trend right now, though. Near term, lower highs, lower lows. trying to gain this 200-day moving average, getting rejected at the VWAP and the 12-month. Gonna need a little bit of time on JD. What's up with Lulu? I haven't looked at Lulu in a long time. Ooh, Lulu looking rough. Trading below VWAP and POC. Got it getting rejected at the 200. Not even getting close to the 12-month. Making a new relative low a couple months ago. Huh. Yeeks. How about mRNA? If you guys got monthly charts you want me to take a look at, hit me up. Let me know. We're looking at monthlies today because it's the end of the month. And we got some new monthly candles. mRNA looking pretty rough. Below the VWAP from the COVID lows, below the 200-day moving average. Losing last month's low as well. 78 bucks might be on the horizon. 78 to 95 maybe. Netflix. Whew. Netflix looking a little spooky too. Holding the big breakout level though. Holding the big breakout level. Did make a new monthly high. But probably a little bit of downside to come here. Maybe another 200 back into $200 or so, something like that. Little 10% haircut maybe. Does Netflix tend to do well in October for Halloween? Yes, it does. 65% win rate in October, 65% win rate in September. So historically, actually, we're coming into relatively strong months on Netflix here. So it's good to see. November is meh. November's okay. December's strong too. January strong. Actually, yeah, we're coming into the strongest section of the year for Netflix. It's good to know. Qualcomm. Been asked about this one quite a bit. What are we doing on Qualcomm here? Below the moving averages, barely holding onto the VWAP from the COVID lows. Did manage to make new lows last couple of months against our October 21 rather. Made new highs too. It's kind of like a must-hold spot, Qualcomm. If we start feeling some lows, we can make a move quite lower. How's Starbucks looking? Starbucks holding higher lows. Barely up and over the 200-day moving average, but it's there, getting rejected at the VWAP from the COVID low. You guys see how important these very simple indicators can be to price? It can be pretty darn important. I like that they held a higher low here. Starbucks doesn't look too bad. It's definitely got some work to do, but it doesn't look terrible. It doesn't look super scary like some of these other ones. Tesla. Everyone's talking Tesla. Let's talk about Tesla. Tesla monthly, not looking the greatest. Last month was so powerful. Not surprised to see a little bit of sideways. Failing currently below its 200-day moving average. Failed at the 12-month moving average. But holding the VWAP from the COVID lows. 250. I could see it. You know, another thing, guys. If you don't want to sign up for my calendar, you don't have to. If you still want to know when I'm going live, pop your email right here. and we will send you an email to let you know that I'm live. You just want to see my smiling mug. That's the easiest way. Cost, Edward. Yeah, so cost, I don't love here on the monthly. A couple things in its favor. First thing in its favor is that it's holding all the stuff, right? It held your VWAP from your COVID low, almost to the penny. It's holding the 200, it's holding the 12 month. So all in all, the trend is still up. If I were to go to the weekly, I agree completely with you. Head and shoulders on the weekly. And let's talk about how or why that was formed. You have your low here. You have a new low here. You have your high that took you here. So when we came back up to this, we did not quite get there. We actually didn't even quite get there, but we did pretty much. Yeah, so on the weekly things could get very, very sticky for sure. Weekly is signaling some real potential for downside here. Now, let's circle back to the general idea, the general consensus that we've come to by looking at these, 200-ish. Maybe we didn't look at 200 names, but we looked at maybe 70 names or something. And more specifically, we scanned for the ones that were strong relative in their groups. And we found that the essentials so far seem to be what's working. Would you put Costco in the essentials world? I kind of would. People trying to save money. Costco's that's the idea behind Costco, right? Saving money for the essentials. So I would say yes, the weekly is firing off some warning shots. Weekly's firing off some warning shots, but if you're able to get up and over $600, warning shot gets removed, in my opinion. And I know that's $75 away. That's 18% or so. So I'm not saying it's going to happen instantly or immediately. 2-point end of day sell-off. Let's go look at what's going on. How are we closing out this month on SPY? Let's just go to I'm just going to go to a small time frame. Are they going to close us at low a day? Is that how they're going to do us? They're going to do us dirty like that? All those SPY longs out there. This is not your month. Next month is likely going to be pretty sticky. That is nasty there, closing at essentially low of the month. Below average relative volume. Still holding RSI above 50 on the monthly. Still holding above VWAP from COVID lows. QQQ. Same look. Not quite the same look. Almost the same look with one pretty vital difference. And that is we are below VWAP from the COVID lows. That means that on average, your average buyer of the Qs from 2022 of March until now is losing on this trade. That's not what you want to see. It's not what you want to see. They tried. They gained it last month. They tried to hold it, and they just did not. IWM, we can pop over to real quick like. Similar looks on IWM. Below the VWAP from the COVID low. Below the moving averages. Nasty. Not so great. YUMC. What's up with Yum China? Yum China doesn't look bad. Holding its 200-day moving average up and over POC from COVID lows. Looks like it's finding some resistance at the VWAP from the COVID low. It is holding its 200-day. It is holding its 12-month. Not a bad look. Don't know much about the symbol though, so not sure what to anticipate from it. China names had me spooked earlier this year. Maybe that was the point. Take a look at Zoom real quick. Zoom failing. A pretty important low that it's losing. Let's see if it actually lost it. Did not lose it. Pretty important low there on Zoom. Pretty important. Barely holding on. Yikes, guys! Yikes! Said closed low of day. Did we really? I mean, pretty much. Yeah, y'all. Not the greatest look going into the end of the month. Not really what we want to see. But hey, we're traders. We live to trade another day. We set our stops tight. We only trade when we feel really confident. We sit on our hands when it's time to sit on our hands. And that's just how we roll. All right. I'm thinking, just based on the day and based on what's going on, I'm thinking I might dip out of here a little bit early. Does anybody else have any questions? Any questions that I can answer about the TrendSpider platform? Any charts you want to take a quick look at? Monthly charts you want to take a quick look at? If not, then I might get up out of here a few minutes early today. SPY fib retracement on the monthly. So presumably, I would guess that you're measuring from COVID low. I don't know exactly where you're measuring from. But yeah, that 50% retrace absolutely come into play. Would not shock me in the least. 0.618 could come into play. Really wouldn't surprise me either. I think they're setting us up for some more pain, unfortunately. That's what it quite feels like to me. It was a nice little bounce while it lasted. They've got kind of one more shot to save things. So they got a couple more shots. You know, they really held it today. And right at this pivot. And that's an important one. There's still room. They can still send it lower. I've kind of got my eye around 380. We did make a new high here. So they could just come back in and retest. But longer term, we keep failing new highs. We keep making new lows. And that monthly candle is just an ugly, ugly thing. So tricky. All right, guys. Well, with that, we're going to close out the show here. Couple notes before we close out the show. First thing, tomorrow night, we are going to be hanging out with Sarah, the Strat Sniper. She is going to help us see the way using the strat philosophy. Sarah is awesome. We love Sarah. We cannot wait to hang out with her again tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern time, right here on TrendSpider TV. We're going to be gone Friday. We're not going to be hanging out on Friday live. We're going to just kick it back. We've got the long weekend coming up. We're not going to be here Monday. Maybe I will come here Friday since we're not going to be here Monday. I don't know. I'll let y'all know. We are off on Monday. We got the long weekend. If I don't see you guys on Friday, if I'm not here on Friday, I hope you guys have an awesome long weekend. Enjoy it. It's the end of summer. Jump in a pool, touch some grass, grill some ribs, hang out with your family and your friends. Tell them you love them. Don't think about the markets. Enjoy the weekend. Don't think about the markets. But if you are thinking about the markets, hopefully you are doing your analysis on TrendSpider. And if you are interested in doing your analysis on TrendSpider, but you don't have a TrendSpider account, let me hook you up. I'll hook you up. If I can get a coupon. Where's my coupon? I need to do my pinned messages. Sadie, can you hook me up with a coupon? Ah, here it is. I got you. Hold on, guys. Ah, what the heck's going on? My computer's acting a little finicky over here. I cannot grab the link. Okay, I grabbed the link. What's up, John Lacroix? 25% off. If you're interested in TrendSpider, interested in getting an account with us, now is a great time. And again, big things popping this weekend or into the end of the week. Again, I'm not going to tell you what they are, but keep your eyes on us. Got some big stuff to announce here towards the end of the week that I think y'all will be stoked about. Yeah. So again, tomorrow night, we're hanging out with Sarah the Strat Sniper. That's going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern time right here on TrendSpider TV on YouTube. I may go live on Friday. We'll see. If I do, I'll let you guys know. ATXG hit $656. What was it, like $280 when we looked at it initially? Jeez. It's another one of those. There was another one that did that too, right? A couple weeks back. Enjoy your long weekend. And then I'll be back on Tuesday on Twitter. If anybody is on Twitter, please give us a follow on Twitter at TrendSpider. Give me a follow. You can see it. My Twitter handle is it's right over here, at Krutzky Trades. Would love to chat with all of you. Feel free to hit me up if you ever have any questions about the platform. If I'm not available, down here, bottom right-hand corner of your charts where it says contact us, this is a direct feed into our employee chat room. We have live people every day, Monday through Sunday. Monday through Friday, they're there about 20 hours a day. On the weekends, they're there about 8 hours a day. If you got questions, hit us up. We're happy to help answer any questions that you have, platform related or otherwise. And again, if you want to hit me up on Twitter with any questions, I'm always around. Happy to help however I can. And yeah, that's really the gist. Next Tuesday on Twitter, we've got a trade ideas of the week Twitter space, 8 p.m. Eastern time with Nick Stocks, Danny Naz, and Anka from Trade Out Loud. So lots coming up here in the near term. But before all of that stuff happens, we're going to have a nice long weekend. We're not going to stress about the market. We're just going to let it do what it does, and we're going to trade them well. So with that, I'm going to leave you guys with that. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Hope you have a great rest of your week. Please join us tomorrow night, me and Sarah, 8 p.m. Eastern time, right here on TrendSpider TV on YouTube. And until then, sayonara. Have a good one. We'll see you then.